Flip.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven Sun. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Thursday night, October the 22nd. Joining me, as always, from his underground bunker, deep in the heart of liberal bastion land, is the non-genetically proven Sun.
Liberal bastion land?
Liberal bastion land of the state that we live in the center part of the state.
I would say that's more Philly, but...
The center part of the state.
Yeah, it's like there's a little dot. little dot.
There is a little dot. So, we're coming to you late tonight because we got a debate starting in a half an hour. But before we do that, just wanted to make sure the sound's working right because I don't have the show on the viewer behind the camera. I have the debate on. So, as we said in all our Facebook posts tonight, though, we will start with the Phatts Fantastic Five that we usually wait until the end of our Thursday show. But we're going to get that out of the way early tonight. So for those of you that are here for the debate, hang with us for a little bit. Deal with having to listen to a little football talk for a few minutes. So to recap, which I'm sure somebody doesn't want me to do.
No, I really don't.
That's Fantastic Five from last week. It's beginning to look more like it should look.
For 1 week.
The non-genetically proven Sun went 1-4. The fat guy went 4-1.
You know what? I don't blame my picks. I blame the numbers next to the the team's name. Because North Carolina did not look like, what were they, 8?
Yeah.
They looked like they should have been non-ranked like they would have been if COVID never existed.
Yeah, got you. I got you.
Because they looked awful.
Yeah, I got you. So, let's...
Georgia,
Yes.
won the game probably.
Let's go over what the picks were. You had North Carolina given 13.5 against Florida State.
Yeah, they lost outright.
You had Georgia getting 4 against Alabama. They got crushed in the second half.
They did.
You had Baltimore minus 7.5. Now, this is a game you should have won, but somehow they let the Eagles score like 22 points in the fourth quarter.
Of course. A team where they have no offense.
Yes. You had Washington getting 3. That was your one win. They scored really late in the game. And thankfully for you, they went for 2 instead of tying the game with an extra point. Because if they tied the game with an extra point, it goes into overtime. Anything could have happened. You could have ended up losing.
Right.
But they went for 2. They missed it. So they lost by 1, but you were getting 3. So that's a win. And you had Green Bay, which absolutely got thrashed against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Tampa actually looked like what Tampa I figured would look about in about 3 weeks.
Yes.
4 weeks.
Yours truly, I had Texas A&M giving 5 against, did they play Kentucky? I believe.
Like that.
And they literally ran all over them. I had the over in the Alabama-Georgia game, and that went over in the third quarter, I believe. I had Pitt -4 playing Cleveland, and they just destroyed Cleveland by 31. I as well had Baltimore given the 7.5, so I should have had a 5-0 week. And I had the over in the Houston Tennessee game at over 53. That went over in the third quarter as well. So it kind of looked like I knew what I was talking about.
This is the first time in 5 weeks.
For once, yes. Yes. So, let's look at our picks. And as always, our message board is live and operational. And again, we'll be getting to the debate stuff very shortly, so just hang with us. Looking at the non-genetically proven Sons picks. He took the Giants tonight. Now, that game just kicked off a little bit ago. Trust me, watching the debate and watching us commentate on the debate is going to be a lot more fun than watching that game, as the Giants are playing the Eagles.
Yeah, it's a great game. But I saw it and I'm like, I don't know if the Eagles... I think the Eagles will win, but I think it's going to be
a close game.
It's 7-0 Eagles.
Already? Okay, that's not a big deal.
Halfway through the first.
That's not a big deal. You had a homer pick. You took Penn State, given 5.5.
It's not a homer pick. They're winning that game by 20.
Now, that line was interesting. It actually opened when the pre-line came out. It opened at 9.
Right.
Which was sometime last week. And when the pre-line closed, it closed at 7.5. And since then, it's been falling and falling and falling. Now it's down to 5.5. So, you jumped on your homer team, Penn State.
If it was 6 or 7, I probably wouldn't have picked it.
Yes.
I wouldn't have touched it.
By the way, some breaking news while we're at it. This weekend, the non-genetically proven son is coming home. Obviously, he doesn't want to spend money to wash clothes, so he's going to drive all the way down here to wash his clothes.
Right.
So, we are going to live stream during the Penn State game on Saturday. So you can watch us bitch and scream at the TV when good and bad things happen. That game starts at 3:30. I believe it's on Fox Sports, either Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports 2.
Okay.
So you can follow along and watch us at the same time. That should be fun. You took Alabama, sweet home Alabama, jumping on the Alabama bandwagon after they thrashed Georgia. They're at Tennessee, giving 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they're scoring like 60 a game, so...
You took Cleveland, giving 3.5 on the road at Cincinnati. I believe they're on the road this week.
Yes, they are.
And you took the over in the Pittsburgh-Tennessee game at over 50. Would you like to talk about any of your picks?
Well, I said about the Giants game how, yeah, it'll be a close game. Penn State, they're going to win by 20.
Although Indiana tends to give them fits every year.
Yeah, but usually Penn State still wins by like 10 or more.
No.
Yes.
Usually they win by 6 or less.
It's fine.
Last year they won by 7, actually.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah, that would be fine for you.
Putting up like an average of 60 points a game, and what did they just score last week? 48?
Yeah, and that might have been their low total of the year so far.
Against probably, arguably the best defense in the country.
One of them, sure. Absolutely.
Cleveland is coming off of getting railed.
Yes.
So I think they're going to put up points.
And as I've always said to you, you always want to take a team after that happens to them.
Because I think they're going to come out a little pissed.
Yeah.
And Baltimore. Yep, Baltimore. Cincy isn't that good.
No, they're not.
And Pittsburgh can put up points, and Tennessee can put up points.
Yeah.
So hopefully both those offenses show up.
Yeah, I think
that'll be okay.
I think Pittsburgh's put up like 30 some odd points in every game but one.
Yeah. So this game they'll put up 11.
Interesting, because of COVID, this is Pittsburgh's only second road game. They've played 4 straight home games. Now, I happen to like most of your picks, which is the kiss of death. I do like your Cleveland pick because the one thing Cincinnati can't do is the one thing Cleveland does well. Cincinnati can't stop the run, and that's the one thing Cleveland does well. See, that's why they got thrashed by Pittsburgh last week, because Pittsburgh's a great run defense, and they forced Baker Mayfield to throw the ball and forget it. So they got thrashed. So I kind of like your picks. I thought about taking your Homer School myself, but it's their first game. They're going to run. I think they're going to be very vanilla because they have Ohio State next week. So I think they're just going to want to come out of there with like a touchdown win or so. They won't care any other way. So I kind of wanted to stay off that. If you forced me to take a team in the Big Ten this week, I probably would have taken Ohio State, laying the heavy lumber against Nebraska.
I thought about actually taking Ohio State, but I was like, actually, I think Nebraska could cover, 3 touchdowns?
4 touchdowns, I believe.
4 touchdowns.
Something
so I was just like, yeah, that is kind of a rivalry. So
yeah. And don't be surprised, you heard it here first, if Minnesota beats Michigan Saturday night.
I was going to take Minnesota. Yes. I was looking at it, I'm like, I think Minnesota might win the West.
Yeah. My only concern why I didn't choose that game myself is because they're bringing in a new offensive coordinator, because I believe Penn State stole their offensive coordinator.
They did.
So, might take a game or two to get adjusted, but hopefully they will row the boat against Michigan. If you don't know what that means, then you're not a watch.
Penn State in the Big Ten title game, they don't row no boats.
So now let's go to my plays. And by the way, you're 17-13 on the year now.
Ugh, getting worse.
I'm 13-17 on the year. So let's look at my plays. I agree with you on the Alabama game. Now, just so everybody knows, we do not go over our picks before we play them. He sends me his picks about a half an hour before the show starts. I've already picked mine by then, and this is his first look at my picks. He doesn't see them before they go on. The only thing he'll ask me is, did I agree on any games, or am I playing against him in any games? That's usually the only thing he asks. But yes, I agree with Alabama. I think they roll Tennessee. They're going, Rocky Top. Rocky Top isn't going to be Rocky Topping this week. Not a chance. They're going to get rolled by Alabama. Green Bay. I like Green Bay for the same reason you like Cleveland. They got embarrassed last week.
Who do they play?
Tampa Bay.
No, who does Green Bay play?
Houston. Hello.
Oh, I didn't like that game.
That's fine. You don't have to. I do.
Yeah, they got embarrassed, but
Yes. I took Carolina getting more than a touchdown at New Orleans. That line, I don't understand that line. That line should be more like 4. I think I'm getting a good field goal worth of value in that game. If it was 6.5, I probably wouldn't have played it, but give me more than a touchdown with Teddy Bridgewater, who is a cash machine when he's an underdog. Yeah, I'll take the touchdown and the hook. I like the under in the Buffalo New York Jets game at under 45.5. This was my last game that I picked. I actually did like another game better earlier in the week. That was the under in the Kansas City-Denver game. When it opened on Monday, it was 49. As of today, it was 45.
I thought about taking Denver in that game.
They don't play well against Kansas City at all, and it's supposed to snow there. And the one bad game that their quarterback played last year was in the snow against Kansas City. So who knows?
Well, I just know going up to Denver, it's not the easiest.
Yes, but Kansas City seems to have their number up there. They've played very well against them up in Mile High. I thought about taking Buffalo straight, giving the 12. I was surprised that line's actually come down. It was 13.5 earlier in the week. It's come down to 12. But I wound up landing on the under in that game. Sooner or later, The Jets are going to play a good defensive game. I don't think they're going to play a good offensive game all year, personally. I think their best offensive game, they already happened against Denver when they put up 20-some-odd points. They're not going to put up 20-some-odd points against Buffalo, that's for sure. Buffalo, I think, is going to try to get on track. They just played two really good teams and lost to them, Tennessee and Kansas City. But I see this being a very run-dominated game for Buffalo, so that's what happens when you're on the ball. Tick, 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 tick. The clock keeps running. Ergo, a lower scoring game. So I took the under 45.5. And my last game, I went Monday night. Chicago getting the 6 at the Los Angeles Rams. Now, a lot of you people might go, why are you taking the Bears getting 6?
You like Foles. That's what it
the
is.
Bears. Well, first off, the Bears only have one loss. Now, granted, they've been outgained in basically every game that they've played. The Rams have 4 wins. They're 4-2. Okay? But let's go over their wins in chronological order, and you'll see a little pattern here. Their first win, Dallas. Their second win, Philadelphia. Their third win, the Giants. You want to guess what their fourth win was?
The Redskins.
The Redskins. All 4 wins have been against the NFC East.
Wow. That's impressive. That's really impressive.
I mean,
the division winners is going to be 5-11.
It's a possibility that the Scranton State School for the Deaf could beat all 4 of those teams right now. That's always my go-to school, the Scranton State School for the Deaf.
Is that even a real school?
Yes, it actually is. Yes, obviously it's a high school. If it's still open, it was when I was a kid. But yes, so I'm not saying Chicago's going to win the game outright, but you're giving me 6. I'll take that. I'll take the 6 and be happy with that. Thank you very much.
So in the Buffalo-New York Jets game, when you watch it, when you see the first plays are running, you're going to go tick, 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 tick.
Well, as much as I would like to be sitting on my couch watching it, I will not be.
Well, on your phone or your little tablet that you use.
I do. It's right there on the table, right behind the computer.
EJBT.
But yeah, tick, 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 tick. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Yes, that's what I'll be doing. So those are our Phatts Fantastic 5 for the week. To recap, the non-genetically proven son took the Giants plus 5.5. Is it still 7-0 Eagles?
Yes.
All right. You have Penn State given the 5.5, Alabama given 21, Cleveland given 3.5, and the over in the Steelers Titans game at 50.5. That I think is going to be an awesome game, personally.
As long as you don't say you don't like that pick.
No, I do like that pick.
Your favorite pick of the lot, I was the only one that lost.
Yes. Yes. My picks, I agreed with the Alabama given 21. I took Green Bay given 3.5 on the road at Houston. Carolina getting 7.5 on the road at the Saints. The under in the Buffalo Jets game at 45.5. And Chicago getting 6 on the road at the Rams. And those are the non-genetically proven son and the Fat Guys Phatts Fantastic 5 for the week. Woo! Oh boy. If anybody would like to comment on them, the message board, as always, is live and operational. Feel free to chime in. Let me know what you think of the picks, whether you like them, you don't like them. I don't expect to have much of a crowd watching this tonight live. I figure probably more of you will be watching the Eagles game. But before we get to the debate, I want to touch on something that I wanted to talk about on Tuesday, and because we ran out of time, I didn't get a chance to. During last Sunday's Tampa Bay-Green Bay game, the announcers of that game were Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. And they got caught on a hot mic. And I'm going to play the clip in case you haven't heard the clip. And it was disgusting, in my opinion. They had a flyover, military flyover. Now, I've learned a lot about these flyovers since then, that they're actually used as training missions by the military. Because what people were saying is, well, why are you doing flyovers on basically an empty stadium? Which makes sense, actually. But they're used as training missions. And you have to have so much training when you do these things. So here was the comment. It's only 14 seconds long, so we won't be gone long.
It's a lot of jet fuel just to do a little flyover.
That's your hard-earned money and your tax dollars at work.
That stuff ain't happening with Kamala Biden ticket. I'll tell you that right now, partner.
So as you see, Troy says, that's a lot of fuel wasted just to do a flyover, and Joe Buck, in a different speaking way of Joe Buck, said, that's your tax money hard at work. And then Troy Aikman says something interesting. He says, this is something you will not see in a Harris-Biden administration. Not Biden-Harris administration. Harris-Biden administration. Interesting. So, personally, I found the comments disgusting. I found them very offensive. A day or two later, Troy Aikman posted on his social media pages that he has all the respect for the military and he likes watching the flyovers, blah, 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 blah. But he didn't apologize for the comment. You could feel free to go read his social media posts. He never says he's sorry for making the comment. Lost a lot of respect. I didn't have much respect for Joe Buck to begin with, to be honest. He's an idiot. But Troy Aikman, I did. He's an okay guy. So I'm a little disappointed that he went in that road and then didn't apologize for it. Do you have any opinion on there in your underground bunker there? 7 floors.
Pretty much around the same aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, I know who the announcers were, but I didn't know anything about them besides that they're announcers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I found it very disrespectful.
Yes. All right, so we're about 8 minutes away from the start of the debate. So let's talk about it a little bit. This is the second debate. It was supposed to be the third, but as you know, last week's debates got canceled. Interesting. Usually the third debate is foreign policy heavy, if you go back and watch debates from years past. They've chosen to take foreign policy subject off the table for this debate.
And why would that be?
Oh, I wonder why.
Would it have something to do with Hunter Biden?
It could very well have everything to do with Hunter Biden. Very well. So,
with his crack pipe in his mouth?
Earlier tonight, Hunter Biden's former business associate, now let me get his name, Tony Bobulinski, if I said that right, he had a press conference about an hour ago. A little more than that now. And first he says he's non-political. He very rarely donates money to any campaigns, but when he does, he donates to Democrats. He's a registered Democrat. Not that that means anything. But, so basically what the gist of this story is a company that's, in tight with the Chinese government, wanted to do business with the Bidens, and Hunter Biden was basically the guy setting this all up. And they wanted to keep Daddy's name out of this as much as possible, so they basically said, only bring up the big guy, when we're speaking face-to-face. No emails, no phone calls saying the big guy's name. They actually referenced him as the big guy. Kind of sounds mafia-like, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Joe from Scranton, Mafia. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, trust me, we do know, me being from northeastern Pennsylvania, how alive and well the Mafia is in northeastern Pennsylvania. Netflix made a movie about it, actually. So, Tony is turning all of his information over to the FBI tomorrow. He might have done some of it already. I wrote down some notes from what he said. He believed that the Chinese wanted this partnership not for a return on investment, but more for an influential partnership, to be able to influence the Bidens. Shocker. We all know that Biden is paid for by China. We all know that. It's funny, the campaign doesn't really dispute any of this. Now, I know they, right as we were coming on live, they came out with a statement, so I haven't been able to read the statement. You know the moderator's not going to bring this up tonight, but you know Trump is going to. So we'll see if his mic gets cut off when he brings this stuff up. In fact, Tony Bobulinski is going to be in the audience at the debate tonight.
Nice.
That should be interesting.
Very,
very interesting. And yes, they referred to Hunter as H and Joe as the big guy.
H and the big guy.
H and the big guy.
Sound sus.
Kind of sounds like the 70s sitcom Chico and the Man.
Chico and the Man.
H and the big guy.
Alright, these do not work well on an Xbox.
So, obviously there's going to be more to this story coming out as the days go by. It's not a surprise to me that this is happening less than 2 weeks before the election. If you're a follower of all this stuff, there's always stuff like this 2 weeks before an election. When Bush was running, his cocaine supposed usage came out. Something about Laura killing somebody in a car accident. With Hillary, it was being investigated by Comey right before the election, blah, 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 blah. Trump, the allegations with women. This is the stuff that goes on 2 weeks before the elections happen. I don't think much is going to come of this. I think the electorate is pretty well made up. I don't think the debate tonight or any news that's going to break is going to change too many minds.
No, I feel like these two candidates are so far in whatever they're in.
Yes.
And everybody that supports one or the other are so opposite of each other, I don't think it matters.
Yes. I still think Trump is going to win this election. I still maintain that he's going to carry the state of Minnesota. Now, he won 308, I believe it was, electoral votes last time. Let's see, 20, 30, 46. No, he won 306 electoral votes. He only got 304. Believe it or not, there was 7 electoral votes that went to somebody else or some other people last time. 2 Republican electors and 5 Democratic electors did not vote for Trump or Hillary. So Trump actually only got 304, but he won 306. So if he has, let's just say he has his 306 again, and he gets Minnesota, that's 10, that gives him 316. If he were to actually lose Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, he still has 270, and 270 wins, as long as nobody defects. Personally, I think he's winning Michigan as well. The one, you don't want to believe polling. I say this all the time, don't believe polling. The only polling place that I trust is the Trafalgar Group. They're very accurate, in my opinion, in their polls. So very quickly, before this debate starts in about 2 minutes, I wanted to pull up some of their polls that they have. They have a couple polls out. They poll once a month in all these states. In October, in Wisconsin, Biden is leading Trump by 1.3%. But in September, he was leading Trump by double that, 2.6%. So the margin is closing. In Michigan, in both September and October, they had Trump up by about a point, a little more. They're the only poll that has him up in Michigan. There was a poll, Fox News poll last night has Biden up by 12 in Michigan.
Yeah, okay.
That's not accurate at all.
If he's up by 12 in Michigan, he's landsliding.
I mean, Trafalgar explains it really good. Just because it says, 26% of the respondents are Republican, it takes calling a lot of people who identify as Republicans to get them to answer the polls, because the ones that are voting for Trump aren't answering. Very few are. So they're having to dial an excess number of Republicans, and some of them are obviously going to vote for Biden as well. 8% maybe, 7%. So it's skewing everything. Pennsylvania, our state, has it at about 2.5 favorite for Biden, but that's closed by a lot since last month. Let me see if I can see this quick. Pennsylvania October poll, 2.3%. In September, it was about 5%. So it's cut by more than half. Florida, they've had Trump up by 3 for a while. Florida's not in play as much as they say it is. Even the early voting results in Florida, now granted, they could only show parties, not votes. Republicans are outvoting Democrats in Florida early, which is a shock. You would have never expected that. According to all the polls from the past, a Democrat needs to be up about 20% in North Carolina after early voting to feel comfortable winning. Biden's only up by about 12 and in North Carolina. I don't know if I said North Carolina. He's only up by about 12 in the early voting. Again, Democrats more than Republicans. These aren't actual vote counting. These are party registrations that are voting, because that's all that they could do right now. They can't officially count votes. So if it's 12, Trump's going to win North Carolina. Don't be worried. I have a couple of you message me almost every day how worried you are that he's going to lose this election. He's not going to lose. Have faith. Have faith in your fellow citizens that they see through all the bullshit that's going on. Have faith.
Oh, I saw a comment on Facebook. It was saying, like, on the rally that we all went to, it said, like, good, let them get sick and stuff so they can't vote.
Yes.
So I commented, I think I would walk a mile over Legos to vote for Trump.
Yes.
I got 10 people to like that. And a lot of people commented saying, like, I would walk over glass, through Legos, through a riot, with a gun at my head to vote for Trump. It's like, honestly, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Trump will do anything to vote for him.
Yes. Yes. Interestingly, in the Michigan Senate race, the Republican has a bigger lead than Trump does. The Republican has about a 1.5 point lead to Trump's 1 point lead. Kind of surprising. You wouldn't think it would be that way. You would think if one was going to get, if there was going to be ticket splitting, that the president would get more votes than the guy running for Senate. So we'll have to see how the vote for that actually turns out. Now, don't forget, on election night, have whatever you want on your TV. Have Phatts TV on your computer. We're going to be looking at 11 states specifically. Still trying to figure out how to link them all to my Excel spreadsheet so it automatically updates so I don't have to do typing all night long. But we will come on live, at least I will. Don't know when the non-genetically proven son will be joining, if he is. 5 o'clock election night, and we will go as long as we have to go. 4 years ago, they called it for Trump at a little after 3 a.m., and we were still up. As you will remember.
Yeah, I did not like the next day.
I have no problem. I have no problem live streaming till 3 a.m. We probably won't have anybody watching at 3 a.m.
I don't have class on Wednesdays. So
and I have off that week from work, so.
I, in 2016, had high school the next day.
Yes. All right. Debate is starting. Let me turn on some volume here.
Good evening from Belmont University and National.
Now, of course, the moderator's very biased, of course, as all the moderators are.
NBC reporter?
Yes. Well, there is no neutral reporters anymore in America, like there was back in the 80s and early 90s. It'd be nice if there was.
I guess I'll watch the CBS News feed. Which one are you watching?
I should probably turn on the C-SPAN feed.
I just kind of threw a feed on where I could... The feed I had on was Time, and I couldn't hear her, so...
Trump in his red tie. Biden in his blue tie.
Wow, they're already out on for you?
Yes. So if you get C-SPAN, put on C-SPAN. In the same spot that they were for the last debate. Trump.
Of course, Biden was wearing a mask.
Trump stage left, Biden stage right.
Let me see if I can...
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the message board is live and operational. Feel free to chime in. Tell me what you're thinking as you're watching this debate.
Huh?
I wasn't talking to you. So, of course, we're going to start with coronavirus again, just like we did at the last one.
Wow, Biden's wearing a pin.
You know, somebody said that they kind of have to for Secret Service reasons.
Wow, 40,000 Americans of 300 million.
Mm-hmm.
There's more people probably in the hospital for other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Biden looks a little bit like Walter.
Doesn't he always?
Kinda.
And not the wrestler Walter.
Yeah.
It's Walter! In fact, the FDA, I believe, gave the green light to Regeneron today, if I read that correctly.
Mm. So that means a vaccine-ish.
Yes, and Pfizer's going to be helping to produce it. Regeneron is not, I believe, a Pfizer product, but they're going to help generate it. And it's going to be free. And Trump did test positive. Test negative tonight. He did take a test. Apparently Biden did too, but I never saw the results. I only heard somebody say that he did.
Well, I feel like if he tested positive, he wouldn't be on the stage right now.
Yeah, probably not. Or they would have plastic up, like when you're bowling.
Because that makes a real difference. Plastic that goes 2 feet above your head.
So, very typical answer there by Trump. Nice to see that Biden could come out of his basement for the first time in a week.
220,000. How many people yearly die from the flu?
Yeah, last year there was over 600,000.
Right. My point proven. That's all I need to say.
Yes. And the CDC once again said masks don't work. They don't stop the spread.
Why are we wearing them? Because we're forced to.
Yes. And you just heard him say, I will force you to wear your mask all the time. Ain't happening, Joe. I'm not wearing my mask all the time. When I go out walking by myself, no one's around me, I'm not wearing a goddamn mask.
Oh, I only wear one in buildings and on the bus. Literally the two places I wear them.
I don't care what experts are saying that the president hasn't handled this well. The experts all want you to win. So what are they going to say? Oh, the president's doing a great job. It's like, give me a break.
He did do a great job.
You know, Novin came out with their own. They're working on their own vaccine.
So you're saying their stock might go up?
It did, and then it fell back.
Oh.
Jumped up about 25% one day.
Mara looked awful this morning, and then it kind of rebounded itself. Almost all the money I made yesterday was gone.
So now he's saying that the military is going to help provide distribution of this, which they should.
2022? Oh my god, I would not be wearing a mask until 2022. That's funny. Spring semester, I swear to God, if you have to wear them.
We're about to go into a dark winter, he says.
So he's only just opposing what Trump says.
Yes.
He hasn't.
Yes, and Trump's bringing up a good point right now. When he closed the airspace to China, he was called xenophobic, which is true. He did it. He said it. But again, we had this in the last debate. It's the same thing. It's like we don't need to rehash the last debate. Let's talk about other things here. Let's talk about foreign policy, but no, we're going to do a whole segment on goddamn climate change. Who the hell cares? Climate change is an inexact science.
I don't think either of those two men are really understand climate change, if I'm being honest.
Thank God we got Al Gore, created the internet and knows everything about climate change, at least according to him.
Right. He probably knows about space, time travel too.
I'm sure he does, but he doesn't know how to carry his home state when he's running for president.
What state was that?
Tennessee. If he carried his home state, he wins the presidency. But he lost Tennessee. Yep.
Tennessee is so red, though.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as red back then. My other computer starts up quick. I will tell you exactly how much Bush won it by.
Trump didn't win his home state.
Actually, he did. I mean, sort of. Like, he also uses Florida as his home state.
Oh.
I mean, Hillary didn't win her home state either. She's a transplanted New Yorker.
Where did Hillary actually live?
Well, her dad lived in Pennsylvania. He lived in Scranton. Just like Joe's dad. Maybe they were butt buddies or something.
Maybe they're butt buddies.
Bush won Tennessee by a little less than 4%.
Oh. You missed it. Joe said, come on.
Come on, man. Correct. Now, she didn't need to say that. I mean, we know that young people get sick, but young people recover. Another come on.
Yeah, we're gonna have an empty chair at the kitchen table. All right.
Yeah. It's not dangerous.
There's the come on.
It's not my fault that he came here. It's China's fault. And you know what? It's not yours fault that he came here either. It's China's fault. They kept it from
I don't know. Masks should be optional. If you're scared of it, then stay home.
That's right.
If you want to not hinder your life over something, if you get it, you'll be fine in a week. Do whatever you want.
When it hit, what happened? What did the president say? He said, don't worry. It's going to go away. You go by Easter, don't worry.
He's supposed to say, don't worry. If he said worry, we would have had a panic. The stock market would have crashed a hell of a lot worse than it did.
He thinks we are in control.
Don't you think Obama would have said the same thing?
Right. Let's say it would have been a lot worse if he says don't worry.
I was getting to that, but just to finish this, when I closed,
Oh, God. Injecting bleach. People thought he was serious.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
He never said that.
Rosie said the same thing. She was dancing in the streets in Chinatown and said,
We're going to lose 200,000 more people.
he said,
Okay.
it's a terrible thing. He was xenophobic. I think he called me racist even. And because I was closing it to China, now he says I should have closed it earlier. It just, Joe, it doesn't, I didn't say you were racist. You said you should.
Oh, and Joe is the first one that interrupts.
Different context. It wasn't about closing the border to Chinese coming to the United States.
I want to talk about both of your different strategies to handle.
He thought I shouldn't have closed the border. That's obvious.
Is that you respond to that quickly, Vice President? Okay. Let's talk about your different strategies toward dealing with this. Mr. Vice President, you suggested that support new shutdowns as strategies were recommended. What do you say to Americans who are fearful that the cost of shutdowns, the impact on the economy, the higher rates of hunger, depression, domestic and substance abuse outweighs the risk of exposure to the virus?
What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country. It's his ineptitude that caused the country to have to shut down in large part. Why businesses have gone under, why schools are closed, why so many people have lost,
Really?
and why
It has nothing to do with all the Democratic governors closing their states down. It has nothing to do with Cuomo, Wolf, the dude in New Jersey, Whitmer, Newsom putting old people, COVID patients in nursing homes, where over half the deaths have come from. Come on, Joe. Remember when this started? We're going to close everything 2 weeks. 2 weeks to stop the spread, to flatten the curve. Remember that? Again, I could go to Walmart to buy a hammer, but I couldn't go down to my goddamn local hardware store to buy a hammer. But I could go to Walmart and buy one. Come on, man. That's how you destroyed the economy. You're breathing very heavy. It's like you're panting.
Sorry? I'm entranced in what he's saying.
all he talks about is shutdowns. No, we're not going to shut down, and we have to open our schools. And it's like, as an example, I have a young son. He also tested positive. By the time I spoke to the doctor the second time, he was fine. It just went away. Young people, I guess it's their immune system.
When we follow up on President Trump, you've demanded schools open in person and insist they can do it safely. But just yesterday, Boston became the latest city to move its public school system entirely online after a coronavirus spike. What is your message to parents who worry that sending their children to school will endanger not only their kids but also their teachers and families?
I want to open the schools. The transmittal rate to the teachers is very small, but we want to open the schools. We have to open our country. We're not going to have a country. You can't do this. We can't keep this country closed. This is a massive country with a massive economy. People are losing their jobs. They're committing suicide. There's depression, alcohol, drugs at a level that nobody's ever seen before. There's abuse, tremendous abuse. We have to open our country.
All right, so we spent now about 15 minutes on this.
Right. And yet I haven't heard a plan from the guy who said he has a plan.
That's right. Other than wear a mask and shut it down. That's his
Which
plan.
is idiotic choice. And fine, let's destroy our economy and every small business. That's fine.
I mean, there's only two ways this is going away. With a vaccine or with herd immunity. Oh, there's another come on.
It's a ghost town. And when you talk about plexiglass, these are restaurants that are dying. These are businesses with no money. Getting a plexiglass is unbelievably expensive, and it's not the answer. I mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic. These are businesses that are dying, Joe. You can't do that to people. You just can't. Take a look at New York and what's happened to my wonderful city for so many years. I loved it. It was vibrant. It's dying. Everyone's leaving New York.
Take a look at what New York has done in terms of turning the curve down in terms of the number of people dying. And I don't look at this in terms of the way he does. Blue states and red states. They're all in the United States. And look at the states that are having such a spike in coronavirus. They're the red states. They're the states in the Midwest. The states in the upper Midwest. That's where the spike is occurring significantly. But they're all American. All
It doesn't matter that there's a spike. The people are recovering. I should go get tested to see when I had a cold 2 weeks ago if I had it. Now that the CVS in my town is doing testing, I should go get tested.
Can they test you for something you had 2 weeks ago?
Just yeah, because there'll be antibodies that show up.
Wouldn't surprise me since because of BJVTs
Or the rally.
or the rally. Well, if you got it at the rally, I never felt sick, so
Yeah. And I'll guarantee you, at least half the population that's had it never knew that they had it. If you were to test everybody in this population right now, I'll guarantee you, you will find millions upon millions upon millions of people that never knew they had it, have had it. There's no doubt about it. But we're still talking about this.
it'll disappear November 4th.
If Biden wins.
I think it'll disappear if Trump wins, too.
You know, one of the things that we're going to talk about probably on Tuesday's show is what happens after the election. It's not going to be pretty after the election. This is going to be very bad for our country no matter who wins. We'll talk about this on Tuesday's show.
The Civil War that'll last 5 minutes
It's
because
if
the Democrats will quit.
If Biden wins, there will be a civil war, but not the day after. It's going to be years in the making. If Trump wins, there's going to be rioting, there's going to be looting. Portland will probably be burned down. Chicago. There's going to be horrific rioting when Trump wins. Horrific.
And that's when people just start to be being shot.
You would hope.
The problem is when that starts happening, he starts getting called a dictator.
The Civil War starts when they start trying to take this country in a socialist way. That's when the Civil War starts.
Yeah, and that won't happen because all the people that have the guns are against socialism.
Yes. Okay, now we're at 9:25 and we're still talking about this.
How long is this debate?
It's another hour and 5 minutes. So it's
Can we get to something else?
yeah, this is apparently the coronavirus debate.
Yeah. Foreign policy? How about
It's like,
that?
come on. Can we talk about the economy?
Or
Can we
that?
talk about the Biden plan that has 62% tax rate for federal, state, and local in New York? On average?
Right.
I mean, when 50 Cent comes out and says he's voting for Trump,
He doesn't want to be 20 cents.
right, or 19 cent if you really want to use the exact average.
I mean, like, how can people in California vote for him after seeing that?
I don't know.
I feel like a lot of people have, like, what horses have, little blinkers.
I mean, that's why people are leaving California. That's why people are leaving New York. The problem is, When they leave and go somewhere else, they still continue to vote for Democrats. Move to Pennsylvania. Don't bring your blue to my red. Don't you dare bring your blue to my red. I don't want the area I'm living in to become the cesspool that you're leaving. Oh my God, they're moving on.
Security, and I do want to start with the security of our elections and some breaking news from overnight. Just last night, top intelligence officials confirmed again that both Russia and Iran are working to influence
Security of the elections. I actually like this topic.
voter registration information, these officials say, and Iran sent intimidating messages to Florida voters. This question goes to you, Mr. Vice President. What would you do to put an end to this threat? You have 2 minutes on the clock.
You can't do anything to get rid of it.
I made it clear that any country, no matter who it is, that interferes in American elections will pay a price. They will pay a price. It's been overwhelmingly clear that this election,
What price are they going to pay, Joe? $1.95?
Russia has been involved.
2 cartons of Luckies? Didn't make them pay a price all the other times.
What, are you going to bomb them or something? You going to pay a price?
Yeah, like what are you going to do?
You going to go bomb
Send them a bill?
them?
There's only one way you could stop it, and that's make it unhackable.
That's impossible.
I know. Or
That's impossible.
do it like they used to do it. You're given a sheet of paper, you're given a pencil, drop your vote in.
Yeah, wouldn't that be such a good idea?
I mean, it'll take weeks to count everything.
At least it can't be influenced. I mean, yeah, they could find something that's inhackable, but it's irrelevant like that.
Yeah, you know, when I first moved down this way and lived in Port Clinton, they still did voting by paper and pencil.
I would vote by paper and pencil if it meant it would be a true election.
is wanting to make sure that I do not get elected the next president of the United States because they know I know them and they know me. I don't understand why
Iran wants you to win, Joe.
they take on Putin when he's actually paying.
Russia wants you to win, Joe. China wants you to win, Joe. Ukraine wants you to win, Joe. Come on, man. Don't be stupid.
Well, they get back into the Iran nuclear deal or whatever.
Yes. I don't believe it was the Trump administration that sent them crates of cash. I believe that was the Obama-Biden administration.
Same question to you.
I fully believe the Harris-Biden administration will send them crates of cash. Notice I said Harris-Biden administration.
Right.
To put an end to this, 2 minutes.
Well, let me respond to the first part as Joe answered. Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because he was very friendly with the former mayor of Moscow. It was the mayor of Moscow's wife, and you got $3.5 million. Your family got $3.5 million, and you know someday you're gonna have to explain why did you get 3.5. I never got any money from Russia. I didn't get money from Russia. Now about your thing last night, I knew all about that, and through John, who was John Ratcliffe, who was fantastic. He said the one thing that's common to both of them, they both want you to lose because there has been nobody tougher than Russia. Between the sanctions, nobody tougher than me on Russia. Between the sanctions, between all of what I've done with NATO, you know, I got the NATO countries to put up an extra 130.
You know, it was Trump that whispered into Medvedev's ear that he'll have more flexibility after the election. Oh, wait. That wasn't Trump that said that. That was Obama that whispered into Medvedev's ear and told him to tell Putin that he would have more flexibility after the election. Yeah, that wasn't Trump. That was Obama that said that. Yeah, that's right. Good old Prime Minister Medvedev. Did you know Russia has a prime minister?
It did.
Wow, really? I'm impressed. Not that he does anything.
Listen, not that he does anything, but as long as Putin's alive.
But now, with what came out today, it's even worse. All of the emails,
Oh, now he's hitting on the Hunter thing.
Of course he's gonna hit on the Hunter thing. He's gonna piss Joe off.
It's good that he found a way to get it in there. Says we're not going to talk about foreign policy.
an explanation to the American people. Why is it? Somebody just had a news conference a little while ago who was essentially supposed to work with you and your family. But what he said was damning. And regardless of me, I
Yeah.
Vice President,
I like how he ended it. Maybe you could do it right now.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life. We learned this president
God, he sounded just like Clinton. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss.
does business in China, and in fact is talking
Sounded just like him.
money. I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever.
You're right. You haven't taken a single penny because it went through your son first. He laundered it for you. You are the big guy.
You have not released a single solitary tear from your tax return.
That's right. He hasn't released his tax return, but you could get who he owes money to. It's right there. I have it.
China's paying you a lot, and your hotels and all your businesses all around the country, all around the world. And China's building a new road to a new golf course you have overseas. So what's going on here?
Okay, so he's got a golf course overseas. Ooh.
President Trump, your response.
First of all, I called my accountants under audit. I'm going to release them as soon as we can. I want to do it, and it will show how successful, how great this company is. But much more importantly than that, people were saying $750. I asked them a week ago. I said, "What did I pay?" They said, "Sir, you prepaid tens of millions of dollars. I prepaid my tax tens over the last 4 years."
Just like you're supposed to do. Prepay your taxes when you own businesses.
At some point, they think it's an estimate. I may have to pay tax.
I had to. I didn't make millions of dollars. I had to make estimated payments.
And it wasn't written. Whenever they write this, they keep talking.
I made roughly $13,000 a year I took out of my business to live on. I still had to make estimated payments. I was so poor back then. So poor. Obviously, your window's open.
No,
Oh, well, something's very loud.
people just like driving really loud cars down Atherton. They got big schlongs.
It's amazing that you could be heard 7 stories down in your underground bunker.
All right, gentlemen, I'm going to ask you both some questions about all of this. I'm going to let you both respond very quickly. You just said you spoke to your accountant about potentially releasing your taxes to tell you when you can release them. Do you
As
have
soon
a
as the audit,
deadline for when you can release
I get treated worse than the Tea Party got treated. Because I have a lot of people in there, deep down in the IRS, they treat me horribly. We made a deal, it was all settled until I decided to run for president. I get treated very badly by the IRS, very unfairly. But we had a deal nailed down. As soon as we're completed with the deal, I want to release it. But I have paid millions and millions of dollars, and it's worse than paying.
At least the IRS
Prepaying your taxes, I paid it.
isn't doing something they're not supposed to be doing. They are not commenting on if he's really under audit or not because by law they can't.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he's been saying this for 4 years? Show us. Just show us. Stop playing around.
I mean, what does his tax return again? He's got a presidential disclosure form that shows all of his assets.
Your taxes, or you're paying taxes that are so low. When last time he said what he paid, he said, "I only pay that little because I'm smart. I know how to game the system." Come on.
Oh, there's another come on. 2 of them.
Trump? And then I want to get to 2 questions for both of you.
I was put through a phony witch hunt for 3 years.
All right, right there he looks like Walter.
They spied on my campaign. No president should ever have to go through what
Does he have like his thumb up his butt that he doesn't know how to pay taxes to?
Democrats and FBI agents all over
I don't know.
Like,
I mean, if his tax rate is low, that's because he's using the laws to have a low tax rate. Change the laws. Democrats don't change the laws because they want big business to be successful because that's what funds them.
I mean, your brother made money in the wrong. Millions of dollars. Your other brother made a fortune. And it's all through you, Joe. And they say you get some of it. And you do live very well. You have houses all over the place. You live very well.
All right, gentlemen, let me just ask some questions about this. Well, Vice President Biden, there have been questions about what your son has done in China and
Oh my God, she's bringing it up.
or Vice President. In retrospect, was anything about those relationships inappropriate or unethical?
Nothing was unethical. Here's what you do. With regard
All right. When it's Trump's turn to talk, please talk about when you said, fire the prosecutor or you won't get your $1 billion. Please bring that up. Please.
Number one. Number two, the guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did not do because it never, ever, ever happened.
Please bring it up.
Has not
Please bring it up.
in terms of this thing about what are you talking about China. I have not had
Okay, he didn't remember what country they were talking about.
this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
President Trump, let me ask my question to you.
But I just want
Very
his son didn't have a job for a long time, was sadly no longer in the military service. I won't get into that. And he didn't have a job. As soon as he became vice president, Burisma, not the best reputation in the world. I hear they paid him $183,000 a month. Listen to this. 183, and they gave him a $3 million upfront payment.
All right.
And he had no
I'm going to let the Vice President respond to that quickly, and then I need to get to a question to you. Very
No
quickly.
basis for that. Everybody investigated that. No one said anything he did was wrong in Ukraine.
Okay, President Trump, this is for you. Since you took office, you've never divested from your business. You've personally promoted your properties abroad. A report this week, which was referenced, does indicate that your company has a bank account in China. So how can voters know that you don't have any foreign conflicts of interest?
I have many bank accounts, and they're all listed, and they're all over the place. I mean, I was a businessman doing business. The bank account you're referring to, which is everybody knows about it, it's listed. The bank account was in 2013. That's what it was. It was open to do. It was closed in 2015, I believe. And then I decided, because I was thinking about doing a deal in China, like millions of other people. I was thinking about it, and I decided I'm not going to do it. Didn't like it. I decided not to do it. Had an account open, and I closed it.
Okay.
Excuse me. And then, unlike him, where he's vice president and he does business, I then decided to run for president after that. That was before. So I closed it before I even ran for president, let alone became president. Big difference. He is the vice president of the United States, and his son, his brother, and his other brother are getting rich. They're like a vacuum cleaner. They're sucking
Okay,
them up
President
every
Trump,
single
thank you. You
Well,
can
sure.
move on. I do want to ask you, Vice President Biden, about China. Let's talk about China more broadly.
China.
There have, of course, President Trump has said that they should pay for not being fully transparent in regards to the coronavirus. If you were president, would you make China pay? And please be specific. What would that look like?
What I think China do is play by the international rules, not like he's done. He has caused the deficit of China to go up, not down, with China, up, not down. We are making sure that in order to do business in China, you have to.
So in other words, no, he wouldn't make China pay for this.
China is 51%.
Since he's
We would not do that at all. Number one. Number two,
that's exactly what he's not answering the question. So the answer is no.
internationally flooded.
According to them, it's not China's fault. And you know what? It probably isn't China's fault because there's certainly enough conspiracy theories out there that said they were sending test kits to track corona in 2017 and 2018. It wouldn't surprise me if someday, 30 years down the road, we find out this was intentionally done.
He embraces guys like the thugs
To try to screw up the election?
Yes.
Yeah.
and the Chinese president.
Because again, what do elitists want more than anything? To stay in power. They want power.
So, when Trump was elected, Obama, Clinton came up with this.
Nothing would surprise me. Nothing. And I'm not saying just Obama and Clinton. I'm saying elitists from around the world. Again, the biggest danger to an elitist is a populace. It's an informed citizenry. Just think what this government would look like with a Congress full of populists. It would be a utopia in this country.
minutes in office and being in Air Force Two. Number one. Number two, there's a very strong email talking about your family wanting to make $10 million a year.
President Trump, on the China policy, though, what's the
Why do we have to talk about North Korea? Who cares?
They're paying billions and billions.
There hasn't been anything on North Korea in like a year.
I know.
Because Trump made peace with them. Oh,
The travesty of peace. No, the mute button, Christine, has not been used yet. They're actually taking turns talking. If anybody's interrupting anybody, it's Biden that's interrupting Trump when he's talking.
I mean,
But they're only using the mute button in the first 2 minutes of a new topic, supposedly. And if it gets out of control, they said they'll start using it again. And so far, it definitely hasn't gotten out of control. It's actually very civil. But when Biden's talking, I haven't heard Trump say anything. Biden has interrupted Trump a couple times, but he's been quickly shut up because it's Trump's time to talk. Not that he's being told to shut up. Just
If you're making less than, if you're a middle class family, you're getting hurt badly right now. You're sitting
yes, if you're a middle class family, you are getting hurt right now because everything is freaking closed.
wait another month or so. Or are we going to be able to pay the mortgage? Who's going to tell her she can't go back to community college? They're the decisions you're making. The middle class families like I grew up in Scranton claim
You didn't grow up in Scranton.
we should be talking.
You moved when you were 9.
It's the last thing you want to talk about.
I want to talk about. I do want to share 10 seconds, Mr. President. 10 seconds.
Let's get off this China thing, and then he looks family around the table, everything. Just a typical politician when I see that.
Let's talk about North Korea. Okay.
That's why I got elected. Now let's get off the subject of China. Let's talk around sitting around the table. Come on, Joe, you can do better.
We're going to
Ooh, Trump with his own come on.
President Trump has met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un 3 times. We've talked about the beautiful letters with him. We've touted the fact that there hasn't been a war or a long-range missile test. And yet North Korea recently rolled out its biggest ever intercontinental ballistic missile and continues to develop its nuclear arsenal. Do you see that as a betrayal of the relationship we forged? Just 30 seconds here because we need to get on to the next.
So when I met with Barack Obama, we sat in the White House. Right at the beginning, had a great conversation. It was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it was well over an hour. He said the biggest problem we have is North Korea. He indicated we will be in a war with North Korea. Guess what?
why do we have to talk about North Korea?
And he does have plenty of nuclear
I don't know.
Ooh, they unveiled a missile.
I do it like at least said, no new confrontations when she said that.
I mean, like,
It's true. He's the first president since God knows when that hasn't started any new confrontations.
I mean, he went and talked to him. He said it was that simple.
Trying to think.
Uh,
Eisenhower may have been the last one. Maybe.
he said, I forget where I heard it. Like Obama said, like, be worried about North Korea.
Yes.
And he said he called him.
Yes. He said be worried about 2 things, North Korea and General Flynn.
Why do you think you would be able to
Oh boy.
this persistent threat?
I mean, yeah, North Korea's bad, but talk to him.
North Korea is never going to launch a nuclear bomb at the United States because they know they will be wiped out immediately. It's not going to happen.
He at least has a brain.
Military maneuvers with South Korea. I said because North Korea is a problem, and we're going to continue to do it so we can control them. We're going to make sure we can control them and make sure they cannot hurt us. And so if you want to do something about it, step up and help. If not, it's going to continue. What has he done? He's legitimized North Korea. He's talked about his good buddy who's a thug, and he talks about how we're better off, and they have much more
Biden will just get North Korea more pissed off at us.
Not that it doesn't matter.
No, but you know what they could do is attack South Korea.
But they won't.
Probably.
They won't because again, then we gotta attack them. Then China gets involved. It's just not gonna happen.
Oh, Russia would get involved too.
No, actually, I don't think Russia would get involved. Actually,
Really?
no. They would never get involved in a conflict. No, they would sooner let China take care of it.
Might turn into some sort of world war, though.
I doubt it.
No?
No. The next world war is going to be between the haves and the have-nots. Not country versus country. It's going to be the common people against the elites, and the common people are going to kick the elites' ass all over this world. It's just a matter of time. When I was in college, my history, when I took the class in the French Revolution, Remember the Visigoths, going back 900 years before the start of the French Revolution. Him, Dr. Blessing, he said the next war is going to be between the haves and the have-nots, and he's absolutely correct.
They left us a mess, and Obama would be, I think, the first to say it was the single biggest problem he thought that our country.
Okay, let's move on to American families and the economy.
Ooh, we're going to the economy. Excellent.
That is healthcare, as you both know. Today there was a key vote in a new Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, and healthcare is at the center of her confirmation fight. Over 20 million Americans get their health insurance through the Affordable
It's this simple. All he has to say here, since we're talking about healthcare, is if Obamacare gets struck down in the Supreme Court, I will protect your pre-existing conditions, which he has said repeatedly. So now he's going to say it again.
taken away from us 2 minutes uninterrupted.
First of all, I've already done something that nobody thought was possible. Through the legislature, I terminated the individual mandate. That is the worst part of Obamacare, as we call it. The individual mandate where you have to pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. I terminated it. It's gone. Now it's in court because Obamacare is no good. But then I made a decision. Run it as well as you can to my people, great people. Run it as well as you can. I could have gone the other route and made everybody very unhappy. They ran it. The premiums are down. Everything's down. Here's the problem. No matter how well you run it, it's no good. What we'd like to do is terminate it. We have the individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we will have to run it and we'll have Obamacare, but it'll be better run. But it no longer is Obamacare because without the individual mandate, it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will always stay. What I would like to do is a much better healthcare, much better, will always protect people with pre-existing. So I'd like to terminate Obamacare, come up with a brand new, beautiful healthcare. The Democrats will
Beautiful healthcare.
pressure on them, and we might even have the House by that time. And I think we're going to win the House. Okay, we'll see, but I think we're going to win the House. But come up with a better healthcare, always protecting people with pre-existing conditions. And one thing very important, we have 180 million people out there that have great private healthcare.
All right, so 4 times now he says we will protect pre-existing conditions. I wish he would look right into the camera's eyes and say that.
Healthcare. People that have been successful, middle-income people, been successful. They have 180 million plans, 180 million people, families, under what he wants to do, which will basically be socialized medicine. He won't even have a choice. They want to terminate 180 million plans. We have done an incredible job with healthcare, and we're going to do even better.
Okay, Vice President Biden, yes, this is for you. Your healthcare plan calls for building on Obamacare. So my question is, what is your plan if the law is ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
What I'm going to do is pass Obamacare with a public option.
If we had socialized medicine, don't break your leg. You might die. You're getting a little old.
In fact, do not have the wherewithal.
Okay, so wait till you hear what Joe says. I want to pass Obamacare with a public option. What's the public option? Medicare.
Insurance companies. That's what's going to happen.
So now we're going to be paying 80% of our income in taxes.
Reduce drug prices by making sure that there's competition
It's not my job to pay for somebody else's Medicare.
to
Just like when we talked on Tuesday's show, it's not somebody else's job to pay for your college education.
idea that I want to eliminate private insurance. The reason why I had such a fight with 20 candidates for the nomination was I support private insurance. That's why I did not one single person in private insurance would lose their insurance under my plan. Obamacare.
That's exactly what Obama said.
Unless they chose they wanted to go something.
And how many people ended up losing their insurance because it got too expensive because they had one option? Some states had one option for insurance.
He's been talking about this for a long time. He's never come up with a plan. I guess we're going to get a pre-existing condition plan the same way we get the infrastructure plan that we did in 17, 18, 19, 20.
There's no way he could protect pre-existing conditions. Sure.
He's already cost the American people because of his terrible handling of the COVID virus and economic spillover. 10 million people have lost their private insurance. And he wants to take away 22 million more people
Does he just deny everything he says?
Yes.
I never heard a single policy from him.
No, because there is none.
The idea that the fact that there's a public option.
Okay, so he said Biden care. All right, what's Biden care?
Look, the difference between the president, I think healthcare is not a privilege, it's a right. Everyone should have the right to have affordable healthcare. And I am very proud of my plan. It's gotten endorsed by all the major labor unions as well as a whole range of other people who in fact are concerned in the medical field.
Did he just say
It's going to save people's lives. And this is going to give some people an opportunity.
Medicare run by the government sounds ridiculous?
Children. How many of you home are worried
I don't know.
around in bed
Isn't that what he's for?
Basically.
do if you get sick because you've lost your home insurance, your health insurance, your company's gone under. We have to provide health insurance for people at an affordable rate. That's what I do.
President Trump,
He was there for 47 years. He didn't do it. He was now there as vice president for 8 years, and it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? Less than 4 years ago. He didn't do anything. He didn't do it. He wants socialized medicine, and it's not that he wants it as vice president. I mean, she is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more. Bernie Sanders wants it. The Democrats want it. You're going to have socialized medicine, just like you went with fracking. We're not
Socialized medicine will not work in this country. We are too big. There's too many people in this country for socialized medicine to work.
There's too many people in England for it to work.
You know, people. I had this discussion with people in Canada. Well, socialized medicine, it works great in Canada. All right, first off, it doesn't work great in Canada. Your taxes are over 50%, but your population of all of Canada is less than our population of California.
My response is people deserve to have affordable
I mean, do you know what England's population is offhand?
It's not that many.
care proposal will in fact
It doesn't work there either.
lower premiums. What we're going to do is going to cost some money. It's going to cost over
It would work in Montenegro.
10 years to do it. And we're going to have lower premiums. You can buy better plans, the cheaper plans.
Mr. Biden, that's exactly what Obama said. Premiums will go down. Premiums did go down. I want to know one person. I want one person to tell me their premiums went down under Obamacare. One. Because it didn't happen.
He's talking about socialized medicine and and healthcare. When he talks about a public option, he's talking about destroying your Medicare, totally destroy.
Oh, he interrupted him again.
And this whole country will go. You know, Bernie Sanders tried it in his state. He tried it in his state. His governor was a very liberal governor. They wanted to make it work.
okay, let's hear Vice President Biden respond.
It doesn't
Vice
work.
President Biden.
He thinks he's running against somebody else. He's running against Joe Biden. I beat all those other people because I disagreed with them. Joe Biden is running against. And the idea
Actually, that's not why you beat them, Joe.
that they're going to destroy Medicare, this is the guy that the actuary of Medicare said, if in fact, at Social Security, if in fact he continues to withhold his plan to withhold the tax on Social Security, Social Security will be bankrupt by 2023.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about this because I'm an accountant for a company that's doing this right now. Okay? The government is allowing companies to withhold paying of Social Security through the rest of the year. You don't get it forgiven. You have to pay it next year. You have to pay the entire thing back next year. So it's not like it's what you're withholding is going away. And that's just the employer portion. The employee portion is being collected and sent to the government. The employer portion is not right now because they're allowing companies to keep cash because companies need cash right now. They don't have enough cash because freaking Democratic governors want to shut down everything. So next year, they have to pay it all back. So Social Security is not going bankrupt because we're withholding the employer portion. That's a freaking lie, Joe. It's a lie. Take it from an accountant that knows what he's talking about. By the way, if my boss is watching now, I'm sure he's laughing his ass off.
I'm sure he is. I don't know. Joe Biden is a typical politician. When is he lying?
Whenever his lips are moving.
That's right.
By the way, Miss Goodman, yes, my boss, and you know who he is, asked what the name of my YouTube channel is because he wants to watch.
Mr. President, why haven't you been able to get them the help they need? 30 seconds here.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
But you're the president.
I do, but I still have to get her. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to take over the House because of her. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve anything because she'd love to have some victories on a date called November 3rd. Nancy Pelosi does not want to approve it. We are ready, willing, and able to do something. Don't forget, we've already approved 3.
I like how she goes, "You're the president."
Yeah, like the president could just unilaterally do this,
It still has to get through the Senate
and the House,
and the House, so it's like it
and
doesn't
and
work
and
like
he
that.
wants to do a big deal, and his own party in the Senate is saying no, we don't want that. Won't get through us. It's a total shit show.
Let me follow up with you, Vice President.
We made it.
You're the president,
Vice President Biden,
and
the Democrats.
Yes, I
he doesn't have
am.
much power.
Yes, I am the president.
He doesn't
Thank
have
you
that
for
much
noticing.
power. It's not a dictatorship.
In the summer. This is like it's not new. It's been out there. This HEROES Act has been sitting there. And look at what's happening.
Oh, okay, so you want to talk about the HEROES Act. Yeah, that the money that's not being spent for it because it needs to be reallocated. And Nancy won't sit down and they won't write a bill to reallocate it. Come on, Joe. Quit lying to the people that are watching this.
He will not support that. They have
Quit it. You are lying.
McConnell said, let him go bankrupt. Let him go bankrupt.
You are lying.
What's the matter
The
with
bill that was passed in the House was a bailout of badly run, high-crime, Democrat.
Firefighters, teachers, first responders, and law enforcement officers. Isn't first responders law enforcement officers and firefighters?
Sort of, kind
Come
of.
on.
And what he's saying now is correct. What the bill that the Senate voted no on was because there were bailouts for states that were running deficits long before COVID came. It was a bailout because they all have freaking pensions. Again, I shouldn't have to pay for your kid's college. I shouldn't also have to pay for some idiot in Illinois' pension. Doesn't that make sense for you people that are watching? Should you and your taxes have to pay some idiot in Illinois' pension? Because the union is stealing their money? Because they give it to campaigns? Should your tax dollars go to bail out idiots in Illinois? I'll wait for your answer, America.
They allowed the federal government to deficit spend to compensate for the United States of America.
I want to talk about the minimum wage, gentlemen. Mr. Vice President, we are talking a lot about struggling small businesses.
Oh, talk about the minimum wage. Oh boy, I would love to be on stage now to explain how the minimum wage works.
I do, because I think one of the things we're going to have to do is we're going to have to bail them out too.
Yes, let's go up to a $15 minimum wage and watch what's happened. Do we need to explain how economics works in the United States? Apparently we do.
Package that allows us to be able to go PPP. Money's
It has nothing to do with your paying people. Do you think the people making $16 an hour are going to be okay making $16 an hour when you give people that make under $15 an hour a raise up to $15 and all the prices go up to cover that? No!
I now want $30 an hour though.
Exactly.
I actually want 32 because I want double.
Exactly. You have to give everybody a raise then, which means prices go up. No, what needs to be done, and actually this was your grandfather's idea, and it's actually right. You have to take pay away and lower the price of goods. You have to raise the value of the dollar like it was in the 50s. When the value of the dollar was so high, you didn't have to pay people an exorbitant amount of pay to buy stuff. It doesn't work.
Or make the minimum wage $3 again.
Jesus.
And lower
My
the price
first
of
job, I
everything.
made minimum wage. It was $4.25.
It should be a state option. Look, they're doing it in different places and no different places. They're all different. Some places, $15 is not so bad. In other places, other states, $15
And besides, the federal government should not be getting involved in the minimum wage. It's a state's right. The 10th Amendment. The state should be setting their own minimum wages, and states do set their own minimum wages. But the law is they can't be under the federal minimum wage. That's the law.
Like New York, like 10 something.
I have no idea what other states are without
New York
looking them up.
City or something.
That's the law. So the federal government shouldn't even be mandating a minimum wage to begin with.
Well, Trump said that it's a states thing.
It is a states thing.
4,000 kids. You've since reversed your zero tolerance policy, but the United States can't locate.
When you raise the minimum wage, businesses go out of business. That's not true.
Oh, now we're talking about kids at the border in cages.
By coyotes and lots of bad people, cartels, and they're brought here and they used to use them to get into our country. We now have.
Why would you reverse the zero tolerance policy?
Because he's talking about kids.
Brand new wall. You see the numbers, and we let people in, but they have to come in legally, and they come in through.
But how will you reunite kids with their families?
They built cages. You know, they used to say, "I built the cages," and then they had a picture in a certain newspaper. There was a picture of these horrible cages, and they said, "Look at these cages. President Trump built them," and then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
Do you have a plan to reunite the kids?
Yes, we're working on it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels.
Which is true. A lot of the kids are coming here without the parents. They actually get kidnapped so other people could get into this country. Or their parents get murdered.
They separated them at the border to make it a
Your administration started it, Biden.
They cannot, not coyotes, they got separated from their parents. And it makes us a laughing stock and violates every notion.
Correct, Christine, with your statement about the minimum wage.
They did it. We changed it.
Ah, there goes Joe, Why don't you cut Joe's mic?
Parents ripped their kids from their arms and separated them.
Yeah, but and you know what though, Joe? That these places where they're staying, it's like state of the art. By the way, as he just said. Exactly. She won't ask who built the cages. We know who built them. We know what administration they came from. You're panting again.
Sorry! I don't know what to do.
Well, your microphone gets close to your mouth, is what's happening.
Alright, I'll move it over there.
Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented people. And all
No! We're not letting undocumented people become citizens of this country.
in this country and put on the path.
No! Get them the hell out of this country. Out! You come here legally. Because what's going to happen? They're going to have to be put on welfare. And then I got to pay for them. So now I got to pay for your kid's college. I got to pay for the schmuck in Illinois' pension. And I got to pay for some illegal aliens' public health and welfare. Asshole.
You're getting heated over there.
God, I'd love to be on that stage right now. Can you imagine if Trump said that? I got to pay for some schmuck's pension in Illinois?
That'd be funny.
God, let me on that stage. I'm running for president. That's it.
Go for it.
I'll give votes.
You will get votes. Like 50 million of them.
Oh, he used the word schmuck. Damn freaking right I did.
You used the word schmuck. You'd be more unpolitician like than Trump.
I got a funny story about schmuck. When I worked at Heiko one day, your mother and I were having lunch at Casa Grande. And there was a couple coworkers of mine eating, and when we were leaving, I went over and introduced your mother to him. And the one guy was like the IT guy. And I said, "This is Schmuck Jerry."
No?
He didn't appreciate that too much.
No?
I lied. I said I didn't know what schmuck meant. I just thought, schmuck. Basically is, Hebrew word for asshole.
Right.
Yeah. He was an idiot. Anyway.
They don't come back, Joe. They never come back. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Okay, President Trump, let's give Vice President Biden a chance to respond. And then
How come she's always interrupting him?
Vice President Biden, your response.
No law is telling you simply not true.
Well, check it out. They don't come back.
All right, let's move
But we don't
on
have
to
to
the
worry about it.
next
They
section.
terminated it, so we don't have to worry about it.
Let's move on to the next
You have
section.
525 kids not knowing where in God's name they're going to be and lost their parents.
You know what? I don't really care. They came here illegally.
Which is race in America. And I want to talk about the way black and brown Americans experience race in this country. Part of that experience is something called the talk. It happens regardless of class and income. Parents who feel they have no choice but to prepare their children for the chance.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Including by the police.
I didn't know race mattered.
Mr. Vice President, in the next 2 minutes, I want you to speak directly to these families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
I do.
God, I would love for Trump just to say what he did in 16. What have the Democrats done for you for the last 50 years? Nothing.
From University of Pennsylvania social work.
You become important to them in election year, and then as soon as the election's over, they forget about you again,
Which is 90% after.
as always.
Was to learn
What has Trump done for you since he's been president? Lowest unemployment in history.
make sure she puts
The First Step Act, which got how many small-time criminals out of jail that the Biden 94 law put them in jail.
their child when you're walking down the street. Don't
What was the First Step Act?
cross the street.
To let,
Ensure that
like,
in fact,
small crime offenders out of jail.
yes, sir, no,
Oh.
hands on top of the wheel because
What do you count as a small crime?
your first
Marijuana.
$300,000 child
Okay, you shouldn't be in jail for marijuana.
or someone who's on
Maybe a fine, but that's about it.
the fact of the matter is there is institutional racism in America, and we have always said we've never lived up to it. We hold
Yes, Chris, I did take vacation on election week purposely.
guess what?
The entire election week.
We've always
I mean, 2 reasons. The election and the Breeders' Cup is Friday and Saturday.
this is the
Oh, the Breeders' Cup.
Yes.
that's the end of that.
And I got to get a CAT scan on Monday
We have to provide for economic opportunity.
Wow.
at 11:30 in the morning.
I had school that week.
Opportunity to
Oh, well. I get to sleep in that week
all the things we can do, and I've laid out a clear
for once.
as to how to do those things, just to give people a shot. It's about accumulating the ability to
Yes, I took that week off because I have to go,
from
as Jim says, campaign for AOC.
Same question.
Socialism number one. You still have your flag?
No, I think I threw it away. Yeah, I threw it away. Socialism number 1. He laughed his ass off when I he appeared at our team screen. I had it here not doing this with it.
And he called them super predators. And he said it, super
He did. You did, Joe. Call them super predators. It's right on tape.
your crime bill. The super predators. Nobody has done more for the black community.
You tell him, Trump.
And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, that's the exception, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has done what I do. Criminal justice reform. Obama and Joe didn't do it. I don't even think they tried because they had no chance of doing it. They might have wanted to do it, but it perhaps, and I had a twist to get that done, is not a pretty picture. And everybody
What are you doing? You're making a socialism flag.
No.
prison reform, opportunity zones with Tim Scott, a great senator from South Carolina. He came up with this incredible idea for opportunity zones. It's one of the most successful programs. People don't talk about it. Tremendous investment.
That's right. Didn't even think of opportunity zones.
Black and Hispanic communities, and then historically black colleges and universities. After 3 years of coming to the office, I love some of those guys. They were great. They came into the office and they said, after 3 years, I said, why do you keep coming? Because we have no funding. I said, you have to come back every year. We have to come back.
Turn your mic down for a minute.
And I got 10-year long-term funding. I gave them more money than they asked for because they said, I think you need more.
Socialism, AOC, woo! Wave it. You gotta wave it. You gotta wave it.
They like me and I like them. But I say
Wait, I can put it.
colleges and universities.
There we go.
You gonna hang it on your wall?
Sure.
Right underneath the Trump sign?
I got the Trump flag, Make America Great Again sign from the rally. You got my cop flag.
In the law for a while.
Socialism #1.
Yes, Joe. Actually, you did say that he's accusing you of. You said it right on the Senate floor.
Get the quote, the date when he said it. Not enough people. He talked about marauding young gangs, the people who are going to maraud cities. This is a guy who in the Central Park Five innocent black kids, he continued to push for making sure that they got the death penalty. None of them.
The fact is, Joe, you put minorities in jail. Trump released the small-time criminals
He did in fact, but
and gave them a path to rehabilitation.
we committed over 1,000 people.
Especially the older women that he got out of jail.
Talking about is a law that
The older women.
initiated by Barack Obama. And secondly, we're in a situation here
Not really sure why a 60-year-old woman's in jail
reduced by 38,000 people under
for,
what?
30 years for whatever she did. It's not like she murdered somebody, or if she did murder somebody because she was getting beat by her husband.
That's why I'm
Right.
$20 billion
If you're getting beat by your husband, you should kill him.
laws to eliminate many
You should get a medal for that, not be put in jail.
A medal for that. Damn.
rehabilitation, not to jail. We should fundamentally change the system, and that's what I'm going to do.
Why didn't he do it 4 years ago? Why didn't you do that 4 years
Why did you do it 47 years?
You keep talking about all these things you're going to do, and you're going to do this, but you were there just a short time ago, and you guys did nothing. We did. Joe, I ran because of you. I ran because of Barack Obama, because you did a poor job. If I thought you did a good job, I would have never run. I would have never run. I ran because of you. I'm looking at you now. You're a politician. I ran because
Oh, I like that. I'm looking at you now. You're a politician. That's the line of the night. I'm looking at you now. You're a politician.
You know who I am. You know who he is. You know his character. You know my character. You know our reputations for honor and telling the truth. I am anxious to have this race. I am anxious to see this take place.
Really? You're for honor and telling the truth, huh? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Let me ask you a question, please.
Hold on.
nothing's true about Russia,
Hold on.
Ukraine, China, other countries, Iraq. If this is true, then he's a corrupt politician. So don't give me the stuff about how you're this innocent baby. Joe,
Don't give me this stuff that you're an innocent baby.
I want to stay on the issue of race. We're talking about race. President Trump, we're talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race.
That was great.
There are 50 former national
I liked when he's like, he was in the White House 4 years ago. Why didn't you do anything then? Or, in the Senate for how long?
Five former heads of the CIA, both parties.
And guess what, Joe? They're all elites who are saying this.
His and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
you mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
That's exactly what.
This
That's
where you're
exactly what.
This is where he's going. The laptop is Russia,
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
You have to be kidding. Here we go again with Russia.
We're going to continue on.
Love it. Love it.
You've described
You're saying the laptop is another Russia, Russia, Russia? Love it.
a man chanting
Here we go again.
your supporters. You've said that black professional athletes exercising their First Amendment rights should be
Here we go again with Russia.
To a climate of hate and racial strife.
Well, it was the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter. They were chanting, pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. I said, that's a horrible thing. And they were marching down the street. And that was my first glimpse of Black Lives Matter. I thought it was a terrible thing. As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room.
What do you say to Americans who are concerned by that rhetoric?
I don't know what to say. I got criminal justice reform done, and prison reform, and opportunity zones. I took care of black colleges and universities. I don't know what to say. They can say anything. I mean, they can say anything. It's a very.
I am the least racist person in this room.
I am the least.
And, you know, I hate it when people say shit like that. That they're exercising their First Amendment rights. The First Amendment doesn't actually give you freedom of speech. The First Amendment says that the government can't sanction your speech. It's just like I can't go into where I work and start spewing hatred for Jewish people and expect to keep my job.
Right.
Can I go, oh, it's freedom of speech. I'm allowed to do that. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. The government can't arrest me for saying that. But you're goddamn right I could be fired for saying that.
Reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in? I mean, you said Abraham Lincoln. Where did that? No. As I said, not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community. I didn't say I'm Abraham Lincoln. I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community. Now, you have done nothing other than the crime bill, which put tens of thousands of black men, mostly, in jail. You know what? They remember it because if you look at what's happening with the voting right now,
Let me ask
they
the Vice
remember
President
that you treated them very, very badly.
This is an awesome debate.
Vice President Biden, let me give you a chance to
Christine,
Yeah,
make sure you go back and rewatch this. This is really a good debate.
Because Biden's getting destroyed. Right. Again.
Well, and I like it that they're not really talking over each other.
Yeah, it's actually a debate, not a crapshoot.
uncles whose families are still to this day, some of them suffering the consequences. So speak to those families. Why should they vote for you?
Hey, I'm the ultimate debater. I made my opponent cry.
You did.
I mean, we debated something kind of controversial, but
Well,
what did we debate again? What's it called again?
euthanasia or something like that.
Euthanasia? What?
Like being able to kill yourself if you're sick, or wasn't it something like that?
No, it was it was a race thing.
Oh.
Like getting affirmative action.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was affirmative action.
And you said you're gonna wipe up the floor. The problem is I was on the side that everybody was gonna agree with. At
So?
least the guys were gonna agree with it. And the religious girls were gonna, or women were gonna agree with it.
Exactly, Trump. Why didn't you get it done then? When Barack was president the first 2 years, you had the House, you had a veto-proof majority in the Senate. I mean, you had a filibuster-proof. You had 60 senators, enough to stop any filibuster. And you had a Democratic president. And the only thing you guys got done in 2 years was a crappy health care bill. And an Obama phone. Can't forget the Obama phone.
Nobody knows what that is anymore.
They gave free phones out to people.
Sure, I like that idea.
And they were called Obama phones.
Everybody should have a phone with, like something you can call off of. That I actually kind of agree with. Like a little flip phone.
Yeah, well, you could go into Walmart and buy them for $10, and you could get on a prepaid plan that costs you next to nothing.
Well, yeah. I had one of those track phone.
Yes, I know you did. I bought it for you.
I lost it a couple times.
Vice President Biden, and then we're going to move on to the next section.
I got yelled at for losing a $10 phone.
Okay.
There was a game on it. It was like a jumping game.
We're going to move on to our next section.
Like I did with criminal justice reform. I had to talk Democrats into it.
Gentlemen,
The next section, there's only 8 minutes left.
climate change, please.
Oh, climate change.
Visions on climate change. President Trump, you say
We're gonna end with climate
I
change.
could basically just ignore the last 8 minutes here.
Vice President Biden, you have said you see addressing climate change as an opportunity to create new jobs. For each of you, how would you both combat climate change and support job growth at the same time, starting with you, President Trump?
Is he gonna get Biden to say he doesn't support the Green New Deal again?
Trillion trees program. We have so
That'd be
many
nice.
programs. I do love the environment.
I feel like not a lot of people caught it because he said it so fast.
The cleanest air. We have the best, lowest number in carbon emissions, which is a big standard that I notice Obama goes with all the time. Not Joe. I haven't heard Joe use the term because I'm not sure he knows what it represents or means, but I have heard Obama use it. And we have the best carbon emission numbers we've had in 35 years under this administration. We are working so well with industry, but here's what we can't do. Look at China, how filthy it is.
China.
Look at Russia.
China.
Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy. The Paris Accord, I took this
You know,
because we were gonna have to spend
he's right. The air is filthy over there, and they keep getting extensions to clean it up, but we're forced to spend trillions of dollars to clean up ours now.
Right.
That's why Trump got us out of the Paris Climate Accords.
thousands and thousands of companies because of the Paris Accord. It was so unfair. China doesn't kick in until 2030. Russia
Right there.
has a low standard. And
China doesn't kick in till 2030, and we had to do it in 16, 15, whenever, 14, whenever it was.
incredible job environmentally. And the Chinese
Philly's up 10-7
Hey, you're covering.
that we've seen in many
with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter.
destroyed our industries.
Vice President Biden, 2 minutes to you, uninterrupted.
God, should have took the under.
Climate change. Climate
Yeah, but don't forget Philly scored 22 points in the fourth quarter against Baltimore.
we have more
True.
They can score points in the second. They're not like Detroit.
in the world.
The problem is it's
Much time.
both defenses are so bad.
Within the next 8 to
It's
10
like
years.
Actually, the Giants' defense isn't that bad.
1-5
Their offense is bad.
because they don't have Saquon.
It's just like the Jets' defense isn't all that bad. Their offense is like the worst in NFL history.
Okay, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Organizations as well as labor. People
Relax.
to support my climate plan because what it does, it will create millions of new good-paying
Of course your climate plan's going to produce millions of good-paying jobs. All your plans, Joe, create millions of good-paying jobs. That's what a politician says. My plans will create millions of good-paying jobs. And then they don't. The good-paying jobs that get created go to your elitist buddies that will turn around and keep you in power.
hundreds of millions of barrels of oil in the process.
Only the American public would wake the hell up.
The whole idea of what this is all going to do, it's going to
If there was a way
and it's going to
to force the American public to listen to me,
that's what's happening. And right now, by the way, Wall Street firms in
all of yous,
my plan, my plan
Good luck.
create
I should be able to, for 1 hour,
7 million more than his. This is from Wall Street.
get on every computer, every TV station, every radio station, everything.
Not on climate, just on the economy.
Every iPad in people's refrigerators.
And said very strongly, $6,500 worth
I magically appear
of his plan.
on people's microwaves.
Economic disaster. If you look at what he wants to
I magically appear above your bed if you're laying in bed. And you should be forced to listen to me.
they know nothing about the climate. I mean, she's got a good line of stuff, but she knows nothing about
Nobody ever talks about a populist.
votes for AOC plus 3.
Just say it. Elitists. Want to keep elitists in charge. I'm not an elitist. I'm a populist. I care about you.
For 100 years, we would not even come close.
Maybe I need to be like,
When he says buildings, they want to take buildings.
maybe I should go work for Trump.
Be a senator. There you go.
No, I don't want to be one of those idiots.
Go work for Trump.
Yeah, I'll be one of his advisors.
Go for it.
See, Christine agrees.
I already have to listen to you all the time. No thanks.
And you agree with me most of the time.
More than most, like 99.5% of the time. I haven't learned because I got asked, "How are you not indoctrinated at the rally?" Just went, "My dad."
Thank you.
She goes, "What major are you in?" I'm like, "Film." She goes, "How are you in a liberal major and a Republican?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, I mean, but you're in TV and film production. You want to do the production in
Sure.
sports.
I was part of the acting and directing and producing. You have a problem with me acting?
There's a lot more Republican actors. You just don't know about it because they keep quiet because they'll get blacklisted.
It's because they have to.
I mean, the biggest advocate right now is John Voight. He'll say whatever.
I should never be able to know. I would be fine if no one would ever say anything about their political orientation.
The biggest, liberal, basically, that you see on social media is Meathead. The older people will know who I mean.
I thought you were going to say, what's his face?
Meathead. Cusack?
No.
I bet you Christine knows who Meathead is.
Who am I thinking of?
Watch the message. It'll be about 10 more seconds. Christine's going to actually tell you who Meathead is. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Christine, you let me down here.
Disappointment.
She's either not listening or she's looking it up because she doesn't remember his name.
Meathead?
Meathead.
Oh. Meathead.
There. Well, at least you got the show right, Christine.
I do rule out manufacturing because the answer we need other industries to transition to get to
Comes from the 1970s television All in the Family,
Mm-hmm.
where the main character Archie Bunker, Carol
O'Connor.
uses the nickname to address his son-in-law,
Rob Reiner.
Rob Reiner.
Maybe when you're down here tomorrow night, we'll find some old episodes of All in the Family, and you will laugh your ass off.
14-10 Giants.
Good. 'Cause I'm going to tell you right now that you would love All in the Family.
Okay.
Because it's not politically correct. Back when things weren't politically correct. And it was funny. Because it was taken as how it should be, as comedy.
Right.
Oh, hell. The episode...
Oh my
The
God.
episodes with Sammy Davis Jr.
They're arguing about fracking.
Yes. Yeah, where he says not banning it, where, we could show where he says he is banning it.
Where he was banning it until he got the nomination and went to
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
Did you see they played it on the video board at his rally?
No.
The one in Erie.
I didn't watch the one in Erie.
Oh, well, the video board that was in Harrisburg, they had two of them up, like, behind him, one to the right, one to the left, and they played Biden's words that he's banning fracking on the video board. It was great. Like, 15% of the way through the rally, Trump just said, watch, we got his own words, and bam, this thing plays for, like...
Those words should basically make every single person in Pennsylvania vote for Trump.
Well, most of them. Some people actually want it banned.
And then the fact that he is plagiarized how many times should just make everybody not vote for him.
Yep.
Why do you want somebody who plagiarizes?
And said that he was top of his class in Syracuse, full scholarship, got some award. No, you didn't do any of that. You were at the bottom of your class, 76th, I believe it was, out of 83. You're real smart. Didn't know Syracuse Law was the bastion of a law school, too. You went on a partial scholarship, and you didn't get the outstanding academic award in whatever department you said you did. Then you said you went to like some black school in Delaware. You didn't. They didn't. You don't even know who you are. Come on. And then you steal speeches from the dude in England, Kinnock, Neil Kinnock, and RFK, Robert Kennedy. You plagiarized him too. Come on. You got an F when you were in school because you were caught plagiarizing.
I blame the school that didn't expel him because he wouldn't be at that spot right now. If the school expels him, he is not sitting at that booth debating him.
You should have brought it up. Yeah, didn't you get an F when you were in school because of plagiarism?
Be like, you're lucky that school didn't expel you, otherwise you would not be debating me. Because you would have never been a senator. And you would have never been anybody's lawyer, either.
Well, I don't think he was ever anybody's lawyer. He went right into politics.
What a guy. Why would you go to law school and then go into politics right away?
Because that's the only thing he was qualified for.
Everyone's qualified to be a politician. If
Exactly.
You could just lie, good. Huh?
Exactly.
And I could be a politician. It's not that hard. You just have to get people to like you. It's all it is.
Imagine this is your inauguration day. What will you say in your address to Americans?
They're on a final?
Well, it is 10:34.
I figured they were already on their final.
Totally successful as it was prior to the plague coming in from China. Now we're rebuilding it and we're doing record numbers, 11.4 million jobs in a short period of time, etc. But I will tell you, go back. Before the plague came in, just before, I was getting calls from people that were not normally people that would
I
call
will say this is one of the best debates I ever watched.
the best black
You think?
Yeah.
in the history of our country. Hispanic, women,
Well, because the Democrats not winning?
No, it was very informative.
It was actually civil, to be honest. And Trump wasn't debating the moderator.
Yeah.
But the moderator actually did a good job for once.
Yes. It's like they pounded it in his head that he came off looking bad by doing that. So
Because he kind of did.
to some people, and to some people he didn't.
People who like him probably liked it.
Yeah, like me.
When I was talking to people at the rally, they said they don't care that he's like rude and stuff. They actually like that.
Yes, because he's not a politician.
I will say, I'm an American president. I represent all of you, whether you voted for me or against me. And I'm going to make sure that you're represented. I'm going to give you hope. We're going to move. We're going to choose science over fiction. We're going to choose hope over fear. We're going to choose to move forward because we have enormous opportunities to make things better. We can grow this economy. We can deal with systemic racism. And at the same time, we can make sure that our economy is being run and moved and motivated by clean energy.
If he becomes president, I hope we hit the Senate or the House.
That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to say, as I said at the beginning, what is on
Do you see
here is the character,
Barrett was approved 12-0.
honor,
Yeah.
respect, treating people with
I mean, I don't know
making sure that everyone has
the Judiciary Committee. Is it just people in the Senate?
Yes.
Six Democrats.
They have to be voted out of committee to go to the main floor. The Democrats boycotted the vote. I watched it.
Oh. How many of those 12 are Democrats?
None. They boycotted.
Oh.
If they were there, the vote would have been 12-10.
Oh. So that's why they didn't go, because they weren't going to win.
Yes. Well, it's their way of protesting that they're doing this 2 weeks before an election.
And
Oh, well. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you, Christine. You do learn a lot when you listen to me. I'm a nerd.
I mean, last I checked, Trump would be in power till January, even if he'd lost. So I'm pretty sure he has every right to do what he's doing.
Oh, Jill Biden has a mask that matches her dress. It's like the same pattern. Look at that. It's the same fucking pattern.
Huh?
Jill Biden's mask. It matches her dress perfectly. It's the same pattern.
Right.
All right. So, thanks for... Yes, I am humble, Christine. Yes. Very, very humble. Thanks for joining us for the debate. We'll certainly have recap of this on Tuesday. The plan is to live stream Saturday during the college football game. So if you want to have some fun with us watching the Penn State game at 3:30 on Saturday, because you think I'm spiritual watching, or you think I'm full of energy watching debates, wait till you watch me watching Penn State football.
Just stream the Ohio State game. That's all you need to do.
Yes. You have anything to say before we wrap it up, non-genetically proven son?
No. I do not.
Hey, Betsy was watching. Were you watching the whole time, Betsy? You didn't say anything. Doo-ba-doo-doo. Ugh. See if Betsy wants to answer quickly before we call it a night.
Oh, I can't listen to CBS reporters.
Nope. Streaming at TV. Later.
When
Screaming at TV. Well, Betsy, you're going to have to go back and watch me.
Well, yeah, the CBS reporters started going. I'm just like, Trump's behind. He did really bad in the debate. And
Yeah. Well, they get paid to say that.
They really do, though.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you Saturday about 3:30ish, a little bit before. And we'll have some fun watching football. Until then, as always, remember, where we go one,
we go all.
see ya.